Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, who deserves the most blame for the Cowboys' struggles on offense? Plus reaction to LeVar Ball's latest shocking move. And is LeBron James on the fast track to another MVP award? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. The 6-6 Cowboys have a must-win on Sunday against the Giants. Dallas scored 38 points last week against the Redskins, but they had under 300 yards of total offense. In the last month, without Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys' offense has had the fewest big plays of any team in the NFL. Big plays are defined as plays of 20 yards or more. We're joined by FS1 analyst Eric Dickerson, who has still not let go of the notion of racing Shannon.
We'll talk about that at the end of the
We'll talk about that later. I refuse to allow that to happen.
So your question is, what's wrong with the Cowboys? Well, you know I'm going to blame it on.
Who's most to blame for the lack of big plays in the Cowboys' offense?
I'm blaming it on.
Sean Lee.
Sean Lee. It's his fault. It's Sean Lee's fault. That's why they ain't got no big plays. I was Skip to say. No, really.
Am I wrong about that?
Man, come on, Skip.
I blame the anthem protest. If they had never protested, they had like 50 big plays.
50 big plays. You know, I think it really comes down to the offensive line. Really. I mean, that's where it started at the beginning of the year, you know, with Tyrod Smith being out, Zach Martin was out, and they never got on pace. Go back to last year. When the Cowboys came out, they came out hot, and that offensive line they were crushing people. They were talking about, this is the best offensive line in football. They may be better than the offensive line in the 90s when they won the Super Bowl. I think that's crazy. But, I mean, they had a great offensive line, and they gave up a couple of weeks ago 8 sacks to the Atlanta Falcons. You know, Dak Prescott got hit 10 times. They've never got their running game on pace. They'll run good one week, then it's okay one week. Dak has no time in the pocket one week, and then sometimes he has time in the pocket. So they don't have a big play receiver. I mean, Dez Bryant is still a good receiver. And I say, to me, you have to throw him open. I believe that.
Yep.
But they need a guy that can go deep and really go and catch the ball. I mean, if Martavis Bryant wants to get out of Pittsburgh one day, maybe they take him there.
Maybe.
But I really believe that it starts with the offensive line. And a lot of people, you don't know those guys up front, but those guys up front are very, very important.
The reason why the Cowboys lack big plays because they are a run-first football team. And when you're a run-first football team, you're not going to have guys going 50, 60 yards running the football. And, Skip, the thing is, they weren't explosive last year either. They don't have the two guys that they have that are explosive, Terrence Williams and Bryce Butler, they're not targeted enough so you can see their big play potential. Dez Bryant is basically an end-breaking and a jump ball guy. Jason Witten was never a big play tight end. He was a never stretch the field tight end. He's solid, great on third down, gonna get you a lot of catches. He will move the chains. But he's not a big play receiver. Cole Beasley, if that's what you think Cole Beasley is, he's another guy, get you third downs. Skip, what they do, they're built to play action and then get you open that way. Because if you think about it, Dez is not running, he's not going to get open by running the route. You have to have a great play action, you get one-on-one coverage, and then you throw him open. But as far as running routes, the intricacies of running the route tree, that's not where Dez is. So they don't have explosive players. You look at the Atlanta Falcons. They got Julio. Mohamed Sanu can go deep. They got Gabriel. If you look at Tom Brady, take Tom Brady at his absolute best. What do they have, Skip? They had Randy Moss to take the top off the coverage. They had Wes Welker working underneath. Now, Gronk can still give you big plays, but what did Coach Belichick do? He went and traded for Brandon Cooks, who's a big play receiver. Now they got Amendola, they got Hogan, they got all these backs.
Philip Dorsett can fly.
Yes, but they got guys that can stretch the field. They don't target Williams enough. They don't target Bryce Butler enough. Skip, if you think you're going to get a 50-yard completion when you only target a guy 3 times, you might get one of those. And we've seen Bryce Butler have a game, Skip, 3 catches, 77 yards, one of them the 50-yard completion. But that's few and far between. They don't have explosive players. They're built to run the football, possess the ball, and so that's why you don't see the explosive plays. Since Zeke is the only guy that can give you a home run threat. I mean, Alfred Morris did have one run. I think he went 70 yards. I might have against the Rams.
Yeah, but they lost.
But other than that, Skip, they don't have big play potential at the skill set position. And this is simple as that.
So, quick point of order, since you guys continue to ridicule me about Sean Lee. So, going into last Thursday night game, Sean Lee had been in the lineup for 22 games over the last year and a half, and the record had been 18-4 with Sean Lee playing defense for the Dallas Cowboys. Without him this year, they were 0-5 going into last Thursday night, and they won without him. And by the way, he is returning for the Giants game. So here we go. Now, back to big play potential. Obviously, they miss Ezekiel Elliott. Who wouldn't? I think he's the best running back in football, though I must admit, I thought Le'Veon was really good last night. He really impressed me. He ran hard.
He been like that.
I got it. I'm giving it up to Le'Veon just off last night because he ran hard and he caught hard
Say he's
last
the best.
night.
Say he's the best.
He's not the best.
Okay.
Well, Zeke is. I mean, I've said that. I said it all last year. So obviously, when you don't have that threat of play action, Tom Brady thrives on play action. Aaron Rodgers thrives on play. They're really good at it, but you have to have some credible threat. And so far, Alfred Morris has not been that kind of a threat. So back to your point. The most instructive play to me last Thursday night was the first third down. It was like 3rd and 9. Dak drops back, and they showed an overhead shot on, what was it, on NBC or whatever it was on Thursday night. Was it NFL Network?
Yeah, it was NBC.
Anyway, they show an overhead shot, and everybody is just covered like crazy, like nobody can uncover, and Cole Beasley had 2 people on him because that's what's happened this year. Everybody said, we're going to take that away, your little security blanket underneath your little Wes Welker. We're just going to take him away. And look at what's happened to poor Cole Beasley's production. At this point last year, through 12 games, he had caught 60 balls. He's now caught 30 balls. Guess what? The defense just said, no, you can't have him because we will put our best corner, most of the time, even though Washington didn't even try to flip-flop. He didn't travel with Dez at all, Josh Norman.
No.
And they would have Breeland on him. So what happened to Dez Bryant the other night? He actually made a couple of big plays. What were they? A 13-yard fade route for a touchdown, which he just went up and snatched.
Exactly.
Right? And then he got a 17-yard pass interference. Are those explosive plays? Are those what you'd call big plays, 25 yards plus? No. They're just Dez plays. They're fade routes in the end zone, okay? So that's all you got left. I don't know what Terrence Williams is doing. He's just sort of a shell of himself. His production is way down. And you know how much I've said this all year. I love Bryce Butler because he's the one guy who can run past people. They just can't play him because the owner loves Dez Bryant. Dez is making whatever that contract is, you know. And how do you get Bryce Butler on the field? He got one pass the other night, and he was basically, it was just a little down and out, and he was covered, and Dak threw it out of bounds. Yeah. So he got one target, no catches. Exactly. Really? And he's averaging 20.5 yards a catch this year. Well, you got to throw it to him. Remember Arizona?
Yeah.
Did Dak not make 2 big plays in that game, both to Bryce Butler?
Skip, if you look at the Cowboys last year when they had Zeke, they were possessing the ball.
They weren't getting chunked.
Right, exactly.
I agree.
And they don't draft players because, and the reason why Dak doesn't throw the ball down the field, Skip, is because they told him, Dak, we're good enough. We're going to run the ball. Hey, take Cole Beasley, short, easy throws. He's going to move the chains. We're going to stay on the field. Yep. We're going to keep our defense off the field. So he's not going to force the ball. Yep. He started forcing the ball to Dez, trying to go down the field. What happened? Pick. Mm-hmm. So. And Dez is not a deep threat receiver. He's not like A.J. Green and some of these other guys that can get deep in a hurry. That's not who he is.
I told you the stat the other day, going into Thursday night's game. Dez Bryant on deep passes, 25 yards or more, had been targeted 29 times and had caught 5 of them all year. Yeah. That ranked in percentage at the very bottom of the National Football League. That's what you're up against. Right. So Dak dropped back on that first 3rd and 9, and again, the offensive line has been hit and miss all year. Yeah. It finally started run blocking on Thursday night. They finally got a little bit of momentum. But Dak hasn't had a whole lot of time. And again, what he's best at and what he was best at Thursday night was clutch 3rd down throws, 6-yard throws to Cole Beasley, Jason Witten, Terrence Williams. He had Terrence Williams on a big 3rd and 8 the other night, okay, on a little turn-in.
Ran a great route on Josh Norman. But, Skip, that's not the way they're constructed. We're asking them to be something that they're not.
That's it. The Cowboys are, like you said, they're a running football team. It's certain teams just like that. The Steelers, to me, it's a running football team. They set that up first. I'm going to ask you one question. You're talking about play action. Guys have play action. Aaron Rodgers, who does Aaron Rodgers do play action with? Nobody. I can answer that. He got nobody, you know.
So, I don't know. They ran the ball pretty well the other night from Brett Hunt.
But let's be for real.
They did.
But let's be for real.
Well, guess who ran wild on my Cowboys? Somebody named Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones?
But it
ran wild.
He
had like 100 yards rushing in the second half.
But it was the other Aaron that tore you up.
Well, did he not have a play-action threat?
Now Sean Lee is coming back. Now, did he have a hamstring?
Tore it, yeah.
Now, he's coming back.
That's what they say.
He's
going to practice.
He's not going to finish the season. Hamstring. I'm
telling
you, I had hamstring.
That's why I don't want you to raise Shannon.
Hey, the first
have you walking around.
Joy, what's wrong with you? I cannot run Shannon.
No.
I'm
I'm not backing up
Joy.
Shannon. Both of you are going to pull it simultaneously.
I'm not letting no 58-year-old.
He can't even get down the stands.
We're going to have to carry you guys in here. Skip, tell him.
He just got an epidural in his back.
that.
He out there Tiger Woodsing.
Skip, who would you go with?
If your hamstring would hold, I would go with you. I mean, this man can fly.
That was at 21. That was at 21.
I saw him at 20. I saw him at
and 40
18.
pounds lighter.
What you talking about? I'm not fat. No, I'm not fat.
Hey,
you not that 21-year-old, ED.
Look, Shannon, you look like this here, but you got a lot of this here, like.
Oh my God.
No,
this guy in high
stretching.
school, would you run the 100 in high school?
9.3. 100-yard dash.
9.3?
I can roll.
Hey, do you know how long you have about to
I don't care, Shannon. You can never run.
He just had his 40-year reunion.
I'm going to start calling you Sterling.
He just had his 40-year high school reunion.
By the way, Dez's $17 million cap hit.
No mercy.
The Steelers won 23-20 last night in a very physical game against the Bengals in a scary moment in the first quarter. Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier had to be carted off the field with a back injury after making a tackle. He went to the hospital, but surgery is not needed right now. Then in the fourth quarter, Juju Smith-Schuster laid a huge hit on Vontaze Burfict and received penalties for taunting and unnecessary roughness. Burfict was carted off the field. Later in the fourth, Antonio Brown caught the game-tying touchdown and was laid out by a vicious hit in the end zone. Overall, there were 20 penalties in the game. Afterwards, both teams talked about the physical play.
Ben, how would you explain just kind of the viciousness and the brutality of this game?
AFC North football.
That's it?
Yep.
There's things in place to police this, but I don't know what play you're talking about in question or whatever. So I mean, you're making a general statement, and probably not for me to make a general comment. Football is a physical sport.
I didn't know it was Burfict at first. All I saw was the first Bengals dude that was going to tackle Le'Veon. So in my instinct, I got a block from my teammate, and me just playing ball, I hit him. After I seen the replay, I think I should have held back a little bit more, and just from blocking him.
Hey, sure, I got straight cash on him.
I also believe that's not me. I should never stood over him. I apologize for that. And
it's called karma.
With that being said,
it's called
I hope he gets better.
You can hear Antonio Brown in the background there yelling karma. So, Shannon, do you like this type of physical football?
No. You can play physical football. Skip 20 penalties for almost 240 yards. The Bengals had 13 penalties for 173 yards that were accepted.
That's a franchise record for the Cincinnati Bengals.
And saying that for the Bengals, that's saying something.
Yeah.
This is not good football. This could not have gone worse for the NFL last night, Skip. Because if this is a Sunday game, everybody's not going to be sitting around watching it. But when you play a Monday night game, you have the world's attention. Yeah. And Ryan Shazier gets carted off, Skip.
Yeah.
Not the guy that got hit. The guy that did the hitting is carting off. And what do you think Moms did? Mm-hmm. And then you get the Schuster-Smith hit on Vontaze Burfict. Skip, Vontaze will elicit no sympathy. And I can't drum it up in it because I've seen him do cheap shot after cheap shot after cheap shot after dirty play since he's been in the NFL.
Yep.
And everybody's going to say all he did was get his comeuppance. He got what should have been happening to him a long time ago. Someone caught him slipping. He's trying to make a play. Got cracked back. I believe they will institute the Hines Ward rule on this one. I believe they will fine Schuster-Smith heavily for this hit. I believe they will also fine him for taunting. So he's going to be looking at a penalty of something about $50,000 to $100,000. I feel comfortable in saying that.
Yep.
Then George Iocca hit how Antonio Brown held onto that ball, Skip. I still don't know. I still don't know how he held onto that ball. That was a vicious shot. And again, so you got these three plays.
I think that one was payback, an attempted payback for the first one, for the Juju.
Absolutely. And Juju probably paid him back for Vontaze putting the hit on Antonio Brown a couple of years ago. So we going back and forth. But Skip, I thought the game was poorly officiated. I thought this was, I get it. If you grew up in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s, football was played like this. It was intimidation. You come across the middle, I'm trying to take your helmet off. But there was $1 billion settlement, and the NFL tried to clean these hits up. They saw the decline in youth registration for football. So they're trying to take these kind of hits out of the game. Now it's hard. Football isn't a contact sport. It's a collision sport. It is a violent sport. Even if you play it within the framework of the rules, Skip, you got big men running into bigger men at a high rate of speed. But this was not football last night. 20 penalties is not football. For 240 yards is not football. And there's going to be a lot of money doled out for these hits. All the holding, the clutching, and the grabbing. Skip, this wasn't a good football game. It was football, but it wasn't good football.
That is correct. To me, it turned into an ugly football game because the Bengals mostly play ugly football.
Yeah.
You have been involved in rivalries.
Yes.
That are what I would call respectful rivalries. There might be hatred involved, but you respect each other's level of sort of caliber of play.
Yeah.
When the Steelers play the Ravens, it's high-level, competitive, physical football.
Yes.
And it's usually played fairly cleanly, but passionately and potently.
You try within the rules of the game, Skip. You're literally trying to detach the guy's head from his body.
But every time it seems like in the last couple of years anyway, last 4 years, that Bengals play Steelers within that division, it just turns bad blood ugly. And it goes out of control, and it's usually because the Bengals are self-destructing and the Steelers are trying to respond to that. And last night, obviously, the Shazier injury cast a pall over the whole game early on. And the irony of that was, that wasn't a big hit or a dirty hit.
No.
It was just a routine tackle.
Right.
I don't know what happened. He just got caught the wrong way and stung his own spine, right?
Yep.
And God bless him. I hope he's okay. I don't know. They said they didn't decide to do surgery, but I'm not sure what's going to happen.
He has some movement in his lower extremities.
Good. But it was horrifying to watch, and I think it shook up both teams for a little while.
Yes.
Then, unfortunately, it started to rain, and it looked like it was raining pretty hard, which is never a good thing.
Nope.
And the ball starts to slip, and the ball starts getting dropped by the two best receivers on the field. Antonio dropped a couple, and so did A.J. drop a couple. And the refs lost control of the football game.
They did.
And I saw bad calls, and I saw non-calls, and I saw phantom calls. Like, what? What was that? I don't know, because they're trying to referee a game that is kind of unrefereeable between these two teams because it's just one thing after another. So we get to, you talked about the eye for an eye, Juju and then Aloka in the end zone.
Right.
But the great irony of this game was it turned in the third quarter on the one play in which the Bungles, as in Bengals, failed to hit anybody on Le'Veon up the sideline. It's two Bengals looking at him, Jordan Evans and William Jackson, and they're like, are you going to hit him or am I going to hit him? And Jordan Evans is a rookie out of Oklahoma, and he just sort of one hand pushes him, and he doesn't push him out of bounds. And then William Jackson, who was a first-round pick who didn't get to play last year, so he's really in his first year, he just watched. And they olayed him, and Le'Veon just escapes up the sideline. That's the longest play of the game right there. That's 35 yards for a touchdown. And suddenly, Pittsburgh's back in the game at 17-10, and I thought that's where the momentum flipped, right?
Yeah.
On a play in which two Bengals hit nobody.
Right. I mean, right there.
What? Okay. And then the Bengals looked like this was so Cincinnati. It looked like the Bengals had reestablished control when Andy Dalton, who actually played okay last night, he played a little better QBR-wise than Ben did, but he throws a deep ball to A.J., who gets loose for a touchdown, and there's a hold. Wait a minute. On Giovanni Bernard, on J.J. Watt's little brother? What was that? I don't even know what it was. I couldn't see a hold by Giovanni Bernard. So there's a phantom call that takes away a touchdown that could have made it 24-10, and maybe the Steelers would have had a hard time coming back to 24-24. I don't know. Knowing the Steelers, they probably would have figured it out in the end. But now we get to the bottom line, and the Steelers are now, what are they up to, 10-2?
10-2.
And they just, game after game, Ben just says, okay, now it's time. and I got weapons all over the place, so I'm going to utilize my weapons. And they got the ball at the 41-yard line late, and Le'Veon goes for 9 yards. And then he hits Martavis for 12, and he hits Le'Veon for 11, and, oh, we're in field goal range.
Yep.
Okay. And it was so easy. It just seemed so simple. And all of a sudden, you got another. That's the third walk-off field goal this year. Well, that's just sort of how they do business. I don't know. That's sort of living on the edge to me, but.
Look, Skip, and I was a part of the Bengals-Steelers rivalry. The Ravens-Titans, we didn't like each other. Coach Billick and Jeff Fisher, they didn't get along. We didn't like them. They didn't like us. They had something. They were the AFC champs. They had something we wanted, and we felt we had to go through them to get it. Playing the Raiders, playing the Chiefs. Skip, I play as physical as you want to play the game. All I need to know, are we playing snap the whistle or are we going beyond the whistle? Yeah. You just tell me. I'm good either way we do it.
I agree.
But sometimes this goes over the line. I'm never trying to injure anybody because I understand this man has a family he's trying to provide for as I'm trying to provide for mine. So I'm not deliberately trying to hurt anybody. I do understand that playing this game, some people are going to get hurt. You're going to break a bone. You're going to tear a ligament. Sometimes I think we go over the line. We need to protect one another. But there's no love lost. Vontaze had this coming. I'm not excusing Juju Smith what he did, but Vontaze,
I got you.
That's only like one. You got like 12 people.
I agree.
I mean, we saw you on the field. You sacked Ben, and now you kneeing him. Mm-hmm. We saw you dive at Le'Veon Bell's knee. We see you kick guys. We've seen you since you've been in the league. That was the reason you got kicked out of Arizona State.
Off remember the early interception that Ben threw last night?
Yeah.
Burfict went after Le'Veon on that play because suddenly role reversal and you get to go play offense, you know, and he went and they got into it after the whistle.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, there he is.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, you looking at Vontaze. If anybody else, everybody would have been saying Twitter prayers. Hope everything works out well for Vontaze. Skip, I ain't see nothing. No. All I heard, okay, karma. That's what he get. He's been dirty for a long time. But Vontaze, what do you expect? When you go after people and take cheap shots, someone eventually will get you back.
Well, Antonio was yelling karma. You heard him in the locker room while Juju was speaking.
I don't know if that's exactly how karma works.
I know, I agree.
What goes around comes around?
That's what
he's saying. Like literally.
No, not in that sense.
No, I got it.
In the afterlife.
So that brings us once again back to one Marvin Lewis, who is 0-7 in the playoffs. And now in his career in Cincinnati, this is his 15th season. He's 123, 110, and 3. So he's just a little above 500. And he is back to the days of coaching the Ravens defense. Yep. He believes that you need defensive players with edge, which is why in his tenure they've had 35 arrests in Cincinnati with the Bengals. And he's got Burfict, and he's got Pac-Man, and he's had a cast of others. And they're good players. They're good defensive players, but they will self-destruct on you.
It's hard to play that brand of football the way they officiate the game now. Skip, in 2000 when we had with that Ravens defense.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. You punished people.
Yep.
If you came across the middle, Ray was trying to decapitate you. Those D linemen with Goose and Sam Adams, Rob Burnett, Mike McQuarrie, Peter Bower, they were trying to hurt your quarterback. We were trying to knock your quarterback out the game. But the rules are being instituted and such. Skip, you can't play that brand of football now.
Yeah, but I attended your game at Tennessee that year in the playoffs.
Yes.
That was as physical a National Football League game as I've ever witnessed, and it was played at an extremely high level.
And if you look at that game, there weren't a whole lot of penalties called. Because they were going to let the competitors on the field decide the ball game. Right. Not a cheap ticky-tack foul here or there.
That was Steve McNair and Eddie George.
Eddie George against that Ravens D, and you know.
Well, I think we know too much now, and we've seen too much. We've seen too many devastating injuries that change people's lives. That when you watch it happen and it's on purpose, it's Shazier, a regular tackle, you feel for because it just happens. But when it's on purpose, it feels differently.
No mercy.
The Ball family was in the news again yesterday when LeVar announced he was pulling his son LiAngelo out of UCLA. LiAngelo was one of 3 Bruin basketball players indefinitely suspended after shoplifting in China. LeVar went on the Today Show and explained why the decision was made. Let's take a listen.
China already said, okay, he made a bad mistake. We're going to drop the charges. That's the punishment they gave him.
But in China for stealing, you
But that's
get
the punishment
5 to
they
10
gave
years.
him. Now we over here. Look, we got to serve some more punishment? He apologized. What is the long process for? We only went to UCLA One and done to play basketball. I'm going to get Jello in shape. I'm going to work him out. We're going to do some other things, and he's going to be headed to the NBA. Grand plan stays the same. All these boys are going to get on the Lakers. Watch how I do this. And people are going to look up and they say, wow, how'd they all get on the Lakers?
We're joined by former NBA coach and UCLA alum Earl Watson. Earl, has LeVar finally gone too far?
How about you?
I don't think so. I think this has always been a business for the big baller brand ever since high school. We don't even know if Melo is going to be NCAA eligible to play the next season. What I think they will do is continue to build the brand globally, preferably in Asia, not Europe. And European players always leave school early, 14 and 15 years of age, to turn pro. And they're always said in the draft room to be better prepared, more mentally mature, ready to take on the NBA rigors of a season. Now, in order to get Jello into the Lakers next season, I don't think he's a first-round pick. I think he has to be a second-round pick. He will have an opportunity, and will the Lakers draft him because he's a ball brother?
No, you see they're changing the media rules to deal with LeVar. They're not taking on another one. You know that, I know that. Go ahead.
I don't believe that. I think if they have a late pick, I think they take that chance. He's going to have to work his way through summer league. He's going to have to prove he can shoot. He's going to have to prove he can guard. He can't just work out throughout this season and think he's going to get drafted based on high school. So I see him playing overseas, and I see his brother joining him early.
Okay, but you're a UCLA alum. You stay close to the program and the inner workings of it. And you were here last time. We were talking about how should he be punished. And I said, at least you got to keep him out until the turn of the calendar, January 1st. Let him play sort of the backside of the season. And LeVar said, nope, you punish my son, I'll punish you. I'm taking him out of school. The middle son is the classic case of a kid who needed to stay at UCLA for, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, because he's the one that I'm least sure about whether he's even draftable in the second round, right?
No, I agree. He's definitely a 4-year player. I think LeVar saw an opportunity where my son is not getting much playing time anyway. He's not starting, so why wait? We have to continue to build this brand up. This brand is a global brand, and he wants to make it global. He was in China for a reason,
right,
with Melo doing pop-up shops. And I guarantee he made contacts to continue to get back over there. And then the sell is not really Jello. It's having Melo go with him and playing on the same team. See, Jello is a spacer. He's not going to go get his own.
He's the middle.
Yeah, the middle. Joe, he's a spacer. He's not going to get his own. He's not going to go one-on-one. He's not going to isolate you. Melo is the only point guard that understands his brother's game because they constantly stayed together. I don't see one making one move without the other following. Lonzo's with the Lakers. We know that's guaranteed. He's not obviously leaving the Lakers. So those other 2 younger brothers are going to stick together.
But what do you think about this notion that LeVar saying, okay, they made a mistake. The Chinese authorities say, guys, you made a mistake. We're going to drop the charges. What about him saying, well, UCLA should not do anything because the punishment has already been, being detained for 3 or 4 days has already been served?
It's one thing you have to realize, no one's bigger than UCLA.
Right.
Coach Wooden set that stature very high. He's held it with great character, great integrity, and I guarantee UCLA is beyond embarrassed and disappointed in what happened. So I'm not sure if UCLA is even fighting this removal. I think UCLA is going to continue to be that same institution that is polished and stays professional. The big baller brand has a different avenue, and they have to be kind of, extreme in their choices because they're starting from grassroots on up. So you understand, like, LeVar has a strategic plan. He's always been strategic, and we'll see what happens.
Well, how do you build how do you build a shoe off Jello when Jello is not playing or he's going to be in Europe or Asia, wherever he's going to be?
This summer, UCLA summer pickup UCLA is legendary. It started with Magic Johnson in '79. He kept it going. Kobe, Shaq, every Laker, every Clipper, like young Lamar Odom, even every UCLA player has come through there. Even Chris Webber, Kevin Garnett. Just to play pickup throughout the summer at the men's gym, which is Coach Wooden's.
Chris Paul was there this year.
Three courses. This is Coach Wooden's first gym before they built Pauley Pavilion. His original chalkboard is up on the wall. It's ran by Rico Hines, who is now a G League coach for the Sacramento Kings in Reno. I came up there at the end of a pickup game. You had about 25 pros, including James Harden, Paul George, Devin Booker, 25 pros. Jello was there with his UCLA team. Kids eventually came through there in the end because they kind of keep it closed. Kids ran through there. Who's the first person you think they ran to?
Jello.
Jello.
To the ball.
For an autograph. They didn't run to Paul George. They didn't run to James Harden. They ran to Jello. They wanted his autograph. What they have captured in grassroots basketball and the following that they have in grassroots basketball is beyond any market you can even touch with any commercial. They've done this with no commercials. So I think his strategic plan, and he understands what he's doing, is taking him to the next level for the future consumers of tomorrow.
Yeah, but how, like Jello, his only shot to me to prove himself as even a second-round NBA pick was to stay at UCLA. How are you going to prove to scouts that you're worthy of even a late draft pick?
I'm not sure he's a one and done anywhere he goes. I think if he goes overseas, whether it's Europe or Asia, Japan, whoever, China, I think he has to stay there at least 2 to 3 seasons. Okay. I think putting him with Melo, and Melo foregoing college, foregoing high school, he's not playing this season anyways. I think putting him with Melo gives them a chance to be the best that they can be, knowing that they know each other's games. See, Jello needs a pass-first point guard. He needs someone to always look out for him. Melo has always been that guy for them. Lonzo taught them how to play. Melo has then eventually took over after Lonzo left.
Well, I'm confused. How is Melo a point guard shooting the ball 50 times a game?
That's a new age.
That ain't no new age.
That's the new age.
Stop.
That's the new age.
If you shoot the ball 50 times a game, you ain't doling out no assists.
He's averaged a lot of assists. You got to watch Melo in high school. Melo, to me, could be potentially the best one. He's legit 6'6". He has a crazy handle, and he shoots the ball well. Like, he shoots the ball extremely well. He shoots from deep. He's amazing.
Lonzo shot the ball well.
As you know, it's always the little brother.
Yeah.
Right? You know that. Yeah. It's always the little brother, right? It's always a younger brother that knows exactly what to do and how to do it, learning from the big brother's mistakes. You know that.
Exactly.
Right?
So, Earl, last time you were here, you called LeVar a genius, and you still believe that. And Shannon and I, as we open the show today, we're finally out. Like, this has gone too far. I'll just speak for myself, because I still believe Lonzo Ball can be a big star, superstar in the NBA. He can be a difference maker. But the father is making it so hard on him. Week after week, he just escalates. He broadens the target on his back. Game after game after game, and he's criticized Luke Walton publicly. He even criticized his teammate Julius Randle at the end of the Golden State game for not getting the ball to Lonzo up the floor to close the deal at the end of the game in regulation. They lost in overtime, and I just can't defend him anymore, but you still can.
I think he's a genius. I think what he's doing, he understands Jello at UCLA for 3 to 4 years would not get drafted. If you're going to take your shot, you take it now. You take it as soon as possible. You make moves to make sure your son gets the best chance possible. You can't fault LeVar for being strategic. You can't fault LeVar for creating a business in a collegiate business game. You can't fault him for that. So as you move forward, you know Melo is going to be a superstar. You know that. He has that following. He just has that game. Jello is the one that they have to protect the most. And they're a family. They do everything together.
Okay, well, hey, I compared him to Empire. LeVar's Lucius Lyons. Jamal is Lonzo. LaMelo is Hakeem, and Andre is Jello. He got to go in the family business. He can't sing. He ain't gonna be no R&B. He ain't gonna be no rapper. It's okay to run daddy business.
I might agree with that.
Okay.
I might agree with that.
Okay.
I might agree.
Okay, let's go to Lonzo. And again, I'm a big fan. Shannon's shaky on him at best. So he just turned 20 years of age, and in his first 20 games in the NBA, he had 2 triple-doubles. He had the big night, the biggest night against your team as you were coaching still in Phoenix, obviously 29, 11, and 9. He's had 5 double-doubles, and he had consecutive rebound games of 16 and 13. He's also had 4 games, including the one the other night against Houston at home. 4 home games that he, as the point guard and leader of that team, should have closed the deal because they were in position to win those games. And he did not bring any of the 4 home. And against Houston, he missed his first 3-point shot. He's obviously in a horrendous shooting slump. And he went into a shell that scared me against Houston because it was pathetic. He just closed up shop and basically, while he was on the floor, tried not to be involved in the offense. And I don't get it. And maybe you can explain it to me, but I don't know how to, I can't defend that.
A lot of times we sit in the draft and we talk about kids' skill, what they're capable of doing, and the hardest question is the psyche of a player. You will never know the psyche of a player until you actually get the player. I think the Spurs do the best job of figuring that out before they draft that player. They have a great method.
Yep.
I think with Lonzo, playing the point guard position is the most difficult position in the NBA. You're facing the best, most talented players in the NBA. You're facing the James Harden. You're facing the Chris Paul. And the hardest thing, as you know, when you enter on that field or that court, is these guys you watched on TV your entire life that you feel like they are actually giants and untouchable.
Right.
So that first moment when you take the court, you are going to be in awe. I played against John Stockton. I picked him up full court because Gary Payton was my vet. Gary said, you better pick him up full court, but you better respect this opportunity. So Gary also built him up.
Right.
I pick up John Stockton. I realize his shorts are really that little. and I realize his chest hair is truly coming out of his jersey. And then I'm picking him up. I'm like, man, he has on Asics. Like, this is just amazing. I'm turning him full court. I'm in the ball. We get to the top of the key. He throws a pass right past my face, the ball, right past my face. I duck. No one is behind me. And he tells me, back the F up. And then I realized I can no longer be a fan. But I was stuck in awe. I was stuck in, this is truly my idol. This is John Stockton, and Gary Payton is my teammate. This is video game for me.
Yeah.
So I think Lonzo had that moment. Can't judge Lonzo on these top moments because a lot of people go into a shell when they face the Houston Rockets. It's not even just Lonzo, but Lonzo is going to definitely continue to stay in the fire. He's going to continue to play at a high level, and you have to support their coaching staff. You can't tell them, we need you to win, but also Lonzo needs experience.
What happened in the rest of the game against John Stockton that night?
Man, I don't remember, but Gary cussed me out a lot. It was tough. After a couple of Karl Malone screen and rolls, elbows to the face, I realized I have to have a football mentality and kind of take some people out.
And don't let John Stockton take your head off?
Don't let him take my head off, but he's still Stock, though. You still love him, though. Like, you love to hate him,
No mercy.
LeBron and the Cavs won their 12th straight last night, blowing out the Bulls in Chicago. LeBron finished with 23 points and 7 rebounds. He's currently 3rd in the league in scoring and 3rd in the league in assists. Let's take a listen to LeBron after the game.
We're just in a good groove, and when you're in a good groove, you want to try to continue that. And we've just been playing good ball. From 1 to 15. We're defending, we're sharing the ball offensively, we're moving. We're just in a good pace and a good space, and we want to try to continue that on Wednesday.
Shannon, how impressive has LeBron been during the streak?
I'm not impressed at all, Joy. Why would I be impressed with something that I expect? This is LeBron being LeBron. Okay, they're on a 12-game winning streak. He's averaging 26.8, 8.8 assists, 8.2 rebounds on 56% shooting. I watched LeBron James win 27 games in a row and average 27, 8, and 8. I watched him go 10 straight games in which he averaged 30 and shot better than 66% from the floor. I watched him average a triple-double in the NBA Finals. I've watched this man lead every statistical category for everybody that touched the court in an NBA Finals. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, and block shots. I watched him do it, and I'm supposed to be impressed by this. This is what I expect. Everybody talk about, oh, Kyrie was the closer. The man suppressed who he is. LeBron James is an alpha dog, which means he needs to lead. But to appease Kyrie, he was willing. Kyrie, take the last shot. I go stand in the corner. But what does he do now? Lead. Remember the Nets? They busted him. Hold on.
Kyrie,
don't interrupt me. Let me.
I just want to throw it out.
They busted him in his lip. He got stitched up. Like 42 stitches, I think they told him. The Nets came back.
Are they still in the NBA?
Oh, during that 16-game win streak, I think the Celtics beat them twice. So on the win streak that they're on, those are some of the same teams that the Celtics got there. But anyway, Joy, did you see him Saturday night? Did you see what he did Saturday night? Now, he scored 13 straight. He, on last minute 22, 7 straight points. He said, Skip, Bayless. I said, Bron, Skip told me you can't hit a walk-off. He said, I can't hit this walk-off. 4 seconds on the clock. Whoa, Skip, stop it. I got the
116 to 111.
Skip.
See, a walk-off wins the game. You understand that?
He scored the last 13.
Okay, all right.
Okay, last minute 22, he had 7. Oh, he made his free throw. Oh, remember that? That three-point play? Made his free throw. 8 from 8 for the free. You know what? I hate bringing up old stuff. I ain't even talking about that no more. I'm not impressed with LeBron James. This is what I expect from LeBron James. He's 3rd. You mentioned it, Joe, all these thirds. 3rd in scoring, 3rd in assists. All I'm saying is this. LeBron James could have done this last year, the year before, and the year before that. But he's trying to appease Kyrie. And he's saying, hey, kid, I'm going to let you have this thing. But right now, I'm still the driver, but I'm going to pass this good old car to you. He didn't want that. He wanted to go get his own car. Get your own car. But you can't do what I do. Because the big homie from Akron, the 6'9", wearing 240. Okay, I'll take that back. 255.
Yeah.
Ooh, joy. Ooh, and when he come downhill, shooting 45% from three. Steph Curry ain't shooting that. Klay Thompson ain't shooting that. LeBron James shooting 45% in this win streak.
And I'm going to stay?
I ain't, you know what, LeBron, you make me sick with these little old piddly numbers. I ain't impressed with you, because you know why I'm not impressed? Because I've been watching him for 15 years and I've seen this. I'll follow his career like every dribble.
So are you saying 45% from three is predictable?
I'll nothing surprise me. He told you if he wanted to, he could do that. He also told.
Oh wait, so some years he doesn't want to shoot 40% from three,
no,
so he just misses.
No, Skip. All I'm saying is this: whatever LeBron James wants to do, if he want to lead the league in scoring, he will. If he want to lead the league in assists, he will. If he want to lead the league in rebounding, he will. If he wants to lead the league in three-point percentage, he will. That's if he wanted to. But he has a lot on his plate right now. Unlike Kyrie, who's averaging 2 assists a game during their win streak, LeBron is still averaging 8. 8. A point guard averaging 2 assists. Is he a point guard or is he Yao Ming? I thought a point guard's supposed to distribute the basketball.
I mean, when you're finished.
Hey, LeBron ain't finished. I just want you to know that. He's still working on his masterpiece. Still painting. Still painting. But watch when he's done, what it looks like.
I will bet you a case of Hennessy he does not shoot above 40% from three by the end of this regular season. Want to do it?
Nope.
Thank you. LeBron James, just for the record, for those out there who have an open mind, entered last year's playoffs as the all-time worst three-point shooter in NBA playoff history, just for the record.
Now, no. With the caveat of how many three-pointers attempted. You got to put that, don't do that.
Well, he's played a lot.
No.
But all those who have attempted X, whatever.
Okay.
But he was horrendously bad going into last year, and he shot it pretty well in the finals, but they got blown out. I don't know what happened.
I'm glad you said they instead of he, because in the previous time you said he got blown out.
I'm glad you brought up that Memphis game last Saturday night, and you said you don't want to bring up old stuff. I don't either, but I'm going to bring up this old stuff because I want those with open minds out in our audience to understand what happened Saturday night in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
The Memphis Grizzlies were in the process of losing their 11th straight game that night. And as we all know, they had just recently fired their coach. Very controversial team-splitting kind of a move. David Fizdale, who I still don't quite get it. I know he was clashing with Gasol, but whatever. And those same Grizzlies on Wednesday and Friday nights had played my Spurs without the best two-way player in basketball, Kawhi Leonard, and my Spurs had blown them out both times, home and away. And then the dissension-racked Memphis Grizzlies had to get on a plane that night and play back-to-back the next night in Cleveland because the game on Friday night was San Antonio at Memphis. So now you're getting a team back-to-back at home, and you can only beat them 116-11. And they're shot, and they're spent, and they're dissension-racked, and it took LeBron James finally saying, I guess I got to do this, and just attacking, which he should do because nobody can stop that freight train. You want to talk about going downhill. Woo!
To make it a 5-point game, can you tell the people at home what he did?
And he hit a three at the end of the game, which made it 116-111. See, that doesn't qualify as a walk-off shot because, see, you have to actually be shooting to win the game where it's actually the game hangs in the balance.
But you told me you wanted him, because remember you talked about how he missed those free throws when he could have iced the game.
Yeah.
So did he ice the game with that three?
Well, but the game's almost over.
But
he's shooting with no pressure at all because if he misses it, it's not that big a deal. You go the other way.
Can I ask you one more question, Skip? And Joy, I believe you were at this game. In Game 7, he hit a shot at the top of the key against the best two-way player in the NBA. Can you tell the people at home what happened to that, Skip?
I thought you were asking Joy.
No, I said Joy was there. Joy was there. I'm asking you.
I don't know which series you're talking about.
Game 7, NBA Finals.
When?
The Spurs against LeBron.
Which one?
In Game 7, when he hit that.
2014? 2014, you got blown off the floor by a record margin.
2013, when he hit that step back, and he ended.
I confused 14.
No, you don't confuse it. You don't confuse it.
Wait, in Game 7?
Yeah.
My Spurs were dead in the water.
Why they dead?
Could not get up off the psychological map.
Hold on,
Ray Allen hit the greatest clutch shot in the history of clutch shots to shoot them right in the heart when they were up 5 with, what, 23 seconds left?
The three-point shot got them to overtime. So
they were
the
done.
Spurs. Okay,
done.
So what about game 6? What about
done.
game 7?
Done. LeBron was great in game 7 against a team that was reeling.
Why are they reeling?
I don't know.
Because LeBron put foots on them?
No, I think Ray Allen
what LeBron
put a foot
did?
right down their throat.
Yeah.
That's what
Are
happened.
you impressed with this? Yes or no?
With what?
Joy, ask him again.
So last night, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So I watch every LeBron game. So they're playing the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
The 3, I believe, and 18 Chicago Bulls, who are now 3-19.
I mind you, the Celtics beat this team on this 16-game winning
fine,
streak. But okay, go ahead.
The Celtics are playing a bunch of kids. Like they're playing Jason Tatum. He's still 19.
Okay.
You know,
Jaylen Brown's in the
he's
NBA.
20.
Marcus Smart's been in the NBA. Kyrie Irving's been in the NBA. Okay, but go ahead.
It's like miraculous.
Al Horford's been in the NBA.
Miraculous what Kyrie is doing with that team.
Al Horford's been in the NBA for like what?
He's playing point center now for that team, and Kyrie's playing the 2 guard.
Oh.
Kyrie had 32 last night. Woo, interesting.
Against who?
Greek Freaks team.
Against who?
It's legit.
You do know we've already beat them twice. You do know Greek Freak beat Kyrie in Kyrie's building.
Last night against the pathetic Chicago Bulls, LeBron again plays 34 minutes. And I'm saying in the middle of the 4th quarter, I tweeted, there's 6 minutes left in the game. And I'm saying, what are you doing, LeBron? You're still in the game against the Chicago Bulls when you could have sat for the whole second half. Coach Popovich, you say you want to take your talents to San Antonio. You better be careful because in a game like that, Coach Pop might not have played LeBron at all, and he definitely would have sat him for the whole second half.
If you don't mind
he
me
just would have sat him. So LeBron is playing mid-4th quarter of a blowout against the worst team in the NBA. What is he doing? You know what he's doing, and I know what he's doing. He is stuffing the stat sheet.
Skip,
I got to pile up a few points because I can't catch Jordan in finals. I just can say, well, I did average blah, blah, blah. So Shannon can say I averaged blah, blah, blah. Because I stuffed the stat sheet the way nobody has ever stuffed it.
If you don't mind me asking, why do you get so upset when LeBron doesn't play? But when he does play,
I don't get upset
yes,
when
you
he does. I do not.
You say, why is he sitting out? Why is he resting?
I don't say that.
You got upset with him last year when he rested.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about.
He's now played the 2nd most minutes of anybody in the league. And what's he in, like his 19th year? I lose track.
And still giving folks the business.
Well, he is. He is playing great. I give you that. He is playing. He shot
you got to give me that.
He shot it sensationally last night, and he kept shooting it into the 4th quarter.
Okay.
Let me get this one. Let me get that one. I need an assist. I need some more assists.
No.
Maybe I can get that triple dub.
I don't really pull the footage, but I can.
You know what?
If he wanted a triple double, Skip, all those rebounds and right there, he's like, okay, Kev, you go ahead and get it.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, with 6 minutes to go in the game, assistant coach Ty Lue called timeout and said, "Would you please come to the bench? Please, just do me one little favor and come to the bench." And LeBron says, "Okay, I'll."
LeBron says, "I spend $2-3 million a year to make sure I can go at least 42 minutes if I need to." LeBron says, "I want y'all to enjoy this. Y'all enjoy this. Y'all get to see me 38 minutes a night because one day it's gonna be gone."
Is that a threat?
It's gonna be gone, Skip, and you're gonna miss it.
No mercy.
Kevin Durant got into it with Boogie Cousins during last night's game, and both players were ejected. It was the 3rd time Durant has been ejected this season, more than any other player in the league. After the game, Durant said, quote, "Every time I get ejected, I make sure it's late in the game. I'm not messing up in the 1st or 2nd quarter." We're joined once again by Earl Watson, but Skip, let me start with you.
Yep.
What's going on here?
I spent a lot of years talking to people who know Kevin Durant, trying to analyze Kevin Durant, and he's a deep dude. He has a lot of layers to him. And what's happening to me right now is that Golden State now goes as Kevin Durant goes, and that's before and after the whistle. And occasionally, of late, Kevin's been going a little over the edge. Last year, he was in an amazing new comfort zone in the Bay Area with a new team that embraced him and welcomed him in and said, basically, Steph said, "It's your team." And yet, after all the success that Kevin has had as the, obviously, MVP of the finals, a lot of his extended family came back into play. He's had some issues with some of the people in his extended family. You know how it goes, and all of a sudden you've got to take care of a lot of people, and it keeps Kevin now a little more on edge than he was a year ago when he had everything in order, and it makes him a little more volatile and maybe occasionally sort of psychologically vulnerable on the court. And what I know of Kevin is that he does a lot of deep thinking, What's it all mean? Who am I? He goes through identity crises occasionally. Remember the shoe campaign he had back in, what was it, 2013? Not nice, Kevin Durant. You know, like he thinks sometimes you can't be a nice guy and be the best player in basketball.
Correct.
And he thinks sometimes he's too nice a guy. And against Russell, this time, Russell Westbrook, when they lost in Oklahoma City, I thought Kevin just went completely over the edge as they got into it, went nose to nose, and Kevin's yelling words at Russell and calling him a name that that'd be the last name I would call Russell Westbrook, but he called him that word, and it occasionally makes Golden State, as potent as they are, and they were potent last night late, it makes them a little more vulnerable than they were.
I know KD. I was with KD in Seattle when we drafted him. He was 18 years old. KD's a great person, extremely great person. High talented player, 7 foot. I don't care what he says. He's 7 feet tall, making plays with the basketball, crossover between the legs, pull up threes, transition. He catches it at half court, 1 or 2 dribbles. He's in the rim. KD needs an enforcer. Last season they had Matt Barnes just for that reason. Yeah, Draymond Green cannot continue to be that person because if he is, they need Draymond. So who's their enforcer? Who is it? Boogie Cousins is going to go at you. Boogie Cousins, to me, is the most talented big man in the NBA by far. It's not even close. Embiid is right there with him, probably potentially will pass him. But Boogie has the game down. He can do everything on the court. Boogie goes at your heart. There's some people that compete against you, and then some people that competes against your soul.
Yeah.
He goes at your soul.
That's a good point.
So Boogie and KD, they get into it throughout the game. I saw the screen when Boogie kind of flopped. KD's not knocking down Boogie. You know, but Boogie's trying to win the game.
Yeah.
But it was also another clip where Boogie kind of goes into KD's chin with his forehead. KD backed away. He felt that. KD had to get thrown out because if he didn't, and I'm watching that game as a coach or as a player, I'm saying, oh, we just have to hit him. We're going to hit him and make this game nasty and check his heart. We're going to check his card and see what he comes back with. Draymond can't fight every battle.
No.
Which is why they need a guy like a Matt Barnes to come in and just disrupt everything, which Matt also did for Blake Griffin and the Clippers.
So, but you know that KD now leads the league in ejections. He's got 3 already. So, and he's on pace to have, what, 19?
Skip, you remember I told you I came to your dressing room and we were going to talk about Lonzo and we didn't get an opportunity to. When you play team sports, it's about predatory behavior. We're going to find who's weak, and we're going to pick on you. Whether you play football, if we find a weak offensive lineman, if your receivers, they don't want to go across the middle, if your cornerback, wherever it is. Same thing in basketball. They're trying to find the weak link. And right now, when they play the team, because you remember in Denver, now we was talking about, told Skip this earlier, the guy was running out the clock. Lonzo's walking down to the other end. The guy gets the ball and dribbles the ball around Lonzo Ball. You know why? Because they view him as weak. They view him that they can take his card. And so Kevin Durant, maybe this has always been Kevin Durant. Maybe this is always who he was. Maybe in Seattle when he went to Oklahoma, but now being in the Bay Area, you're like, well, hey, I can let it all. I'm a champ now. So I can let it all hang out. You notice he started getting thrown out more once Bron got thrown out. He said, I can't pass Bron as the best player in the NBA. I get thrown out like he can.
I don't think
that's what he said. Because who's saying Kevin Durant's the best player in the NBA? Everybody is still saying 2-3 from the 3-3-0 is still the best.
All I know is that Kevin Durant shot a 3 right in LeBron's face that ended the NBA Finals.
It happens.
That's all I know.
It happens.
Yeah, he took his heart, but he snatched his soul right there on national television for all the world to see.
Kevin Durant undermined his own argument because he goes into the locker room and says, well, ain't nobody want to fight anyway. Bro, you can't say that if after you wait till they grab you and then you pretend you wanted to go at Boogie. If you just step to him, all you had to do was just step to him if you bought that. But it's, he done got tougher now. He been in the Bay, E40 out in the Bay. Tupac spent a little time in the Bay. The Loonies, Mac Dre. KD, stop it. You ain't about that.
It's a lot of flavor in the Bay.
Yeah, he ain't about that.
KD's definitely picking up on that flavor. But in defense of LeBron, when KD hit the 3, every scouting report knows KD on the left wing after half court is 1 dribble pull-up or 1 dribble, 2 dribbles to the rim. So Bron had to play chess. He had to give up the 3 because he know that second dribble, KD's 7 feet tall. Bron is not contesting that at the rim, and that weak side doesn't jump high enough. But I think KD moving forward, he has to send a message because he's trying to repeat. He's trying to send a message. That entire team is very chippy right now.
Right.
They're very chippy. They won't let people know. You're not going to just run through us. It's going to be some problems. And we're still talented enough to win the game. And I'm going to be very strategic on when I get kicked out of the game. I'm not going to put us in a situation where we could lose and it's a bad loss. I see we have the game under control. I'm going to get kicked out. But I guarantee you moving forward, with Steph Curry's injury, no one else will get kicked out.
And
they need each other.
Think about it, Skip. And when you look at the Warriors, everybody says, oh, look at Steph, look at Clay. You know, they look at the complexion, they look at the hair. You automatically think Saul. They say, nah, we not those cute, cuddly Warriors anymore. We coming for your throat. And what y'all gonna do?
I don't think anybody ever accused Draymond of being soft.
No. Dre from Sag Nasty. So Dre bought that. But when you look at Clay and Steph, you're like, y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Y'all ain't gonna bust fruit in the fruit fight. So you got to try them. I got to see where you at. Skip, it's all about I'm going to see how far I can go. I'm going to go to the line. Now, if you let me cross over, okay, then that's on tape. That's on you.
So Lonzo Ball is so weak so far in the NBA that he had 16 rebounds one night and the next night he had 13. Is that a soft, weak player?
Skip,
I'm just asking. Can you get 16 rebounds?
Who was that? Was they Caldwell Pope and Ulis had got into it. Now, everybody else, we saw Josh Jackson run into the scrum. Lonzo Ball looked and walked by. How should he have handled that situation, Earl? Tell the truth, Earl.
The Denver Nuggets game, Jamal Murray, who is not considered a tough player.
No.
I don't know if Lonzo's seen the dribble behind his body, the back, or whatever you want to call it, but you have to take a hard foul and get kicked out of that game. You have to lose some money in this level. We talk about dog. You guys talk about having dog a lot. A lot of people don't have dog. Because a lot of time having dog means you have to eventually use your hands. So people don't want to get to that point, but you cannot win a championship or be one of the best players in this league or lead a top team without having a couple of players, if not your best player, being nasty. Steph Curry is the best screen setter in the NBA. He will lift you. I remember playing against him when I was in Utah. He set a screen on me. I was about to get kicked out of the league. I'm telling you, he set a screen on me and he lifted me. And I was like, whoa, that was a hard hit. And he did it on purpose because he knew he had to hit me first. And from that moment on, you knew you have to hit Steph Curry. You watch him. He gets open from setting hard screens. He makes the defense shift, and he pops out for an open three. But you have to have that dog. And
do you think Lonzo has the dog?
He has to find it. Because if not, he will not win a playoff series. He will not win a playoff series. I didn't think KD had it, but KD found it.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.